Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the big show. It is the Big 3 DFS show. As always, joined by my main man from the bottom of the map, Nicky Rodriguez. What up, kid?
How's it going today?
Great. Little, big game for you tonight here on ESPN with the Canes with Do You.
Yeah, and Cincinnati just scored right now, so it's not looking too good.
Yeah, hey, listen, that vaunted defense ain't looking so good today, huh?
Yeah, that freshman, you nailed it on the show yesterday. He's looking good so far.
Yeah, I didn't take him today.
No?
No, I had a little issue, and the hurricane, and that took one of my main guys out of the lineup. But we're joined once again, Case Carruthers. He could not make it last week, but as always, very excited to have him on here. What's going on, Case?
Nothing. Just watching the game. Ready to talk some fantasy.
Hey, both these guys, you want to check out some articles on both of them. Nicky Rodriguez, dailyfantasyaddicts.com.
You nailed it.
For you. And then if you want to find Casey, you can find him on dailyfantasysportsrankings.com. You got to spell out all the words there. There's no acronyms there. But great articles from both these guys. Case, so he's the main college football guy over there at dailyfantasysportsrankings.com. So definitely go check his stuff out there. It's a damn good read. Whether you're on the toilet, the train, or the couch, wherever you may be, get a good read in. All right, so I'm looking at the slate here for this weekend. The late slate, not that appealing to me, but the early slate, there's gold everywhere. Austin Powers' father would have a field day with this one. Now, we got it, as always, we started with the quarterbacks. Quarterback section, as always, brought to you by FantasyDraft.com. Head it there, DFS, Big 3, free $10 ticket. Always a damn good time. Hit it there, or else Doug Gilmore will fight you on the ice. All right, quarterbacks. Let us go. Case, you got to start us off. You are the college football expert here. Kick us off with a guy that we need throwing the ball for us on Saturday.
So there's two guys I'm looking at, and it's really not particularly close compared to the rest of the field. Everybody's heard of Seth Russell for Baylor. The other guy I'm looking at is Greg Ward Jr.
Oh, man.
Both of them have hefty price tags, but the floor that these guys offer in their games is just too much to pass up for your cash games. I mean, Baylor's got a game with a total around 88, 89, and Houston has a game total around 80. So Texas Tech and Tulsa, both the opponents, they haven't proven that they can stop anybody yet. So I think both those games are going to see a lot of points on the board. And every offensive snap, quarterback touches the ball. So those are the two guys you want to lock up.
Usually it's Nicky looking at my notes, but I think you were looking at mine today. These are the exact two guys that I have as a lock.
Yeah.
Seth Russell for Baylor. I get, you're taking a look at these over-unders in the game, and you're like, yes, I will be sitting my ass down on the couch and watching that one today, and that one, and that one. Again, these are exactly what I was talking about when I said there's a lot of greatness in these lineups here. I'm really excited for this. I think Russell is a guy that you absolutely have to work into your lineup. Ward is at that point, too. I mean, the guy's averaging nearly 40 DraftKings points here early in the season. So, those are two great plays. We'll get to a couple sleepers here after Nicky goes. But who you got here as your lock this week?
Casey nailed it. Seth Russell is definitely a must start.
Across the board.
But I'm looking at another guy here, Cardell Jones. He's going to be facing Indiana this week, who gives up a lot of yards in the air. It is Ohio State. They are the champions from last season. Cardell Jones, Ohio State finally got out of that two-quarterback system, and Jones is their guy, so I can see him throwing for 3 touchdowns tomorrow.
Yeah, they are playing the Hoosiers.
Tomorrow, Saturday.
They got Indiana, correct? I'm not making stuff up. Yeah, this is an incredibly porous defense for the Hoosiers. It could get out of hand early. It probably will. It definitely will. But Jones will be having a field day with that. What's the price point on Cardell?
$7,900 on FanDuel.
All right. I mean,
he's at a good price.
It's a little up there, I believe on DraftKings. Anybody got a spot on him? Let's see. 7,900 DraftKings as well. So, not a bad spot for him. But yeah, I mean, going up against that Indiana defense, that's really what you're paying for in that.
Exactly.
All right, let's get to some of the cheap guys. There's a lot of value out here. Case, who's somebody cheap that we should be looking at in the quarterback position?
So we talked about him before earlier in the year. I will say on FanDuel, I'm really not getting away from Greg Ward or Seth Russell, so I'm not going cheap on FanDuel. But on DraftKings, I'm going back to the well, even though he kind of burned me a little bit. But Lamar Jackson,
yes,
Bobby Petrino once again said he's the quarterback for the foreseeable future. Now, last time that only meant the first half, but as long as he plays a full game, I don't see how he misses value at 5,700 on DraftKings.
Yeah, I saw this today, and I was like, I know we're going to be hearing from this guy on the show today. But yeah, I mean, he's there. Now, listen, there's a situation that I have out here where I got a lineup where I got two cheap quarterbacks in. Lamar is one of them, and then Motley Crue, Brendan Motley Crue, we got there, also at 5,700. So, as Danny DeVito once said on one of my favorite shows, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I don't know how long I got on this earth, but I'm going to get real weird with it. All right? So if we're going two cheap quarterbacks in one lineup, we're going to open up some things in other areas. But, we're talking about Brendan Motley. I mean, look, this is a guy that runs the ball as well, dual threat quarterback. The same thing with Lamar Jackson. I mean, we're basically playing two of the same guys, if you want to get down to it. But, yeah, I mean, both of those guys, great options on DraftKings. We're playing the two-quarterback system. But you're absolutely right. I mean, if you're playing on FanDuel, I don't see how you can't go with one of these top-notch guys because, he'll be playing – like Texas Tech, he'll be playing from behind.
Exactly. It's going to be high-scoring.
All right. What do you guys a sleeper, Nick?
As a sleeper, I got Jake Coker out of Alabama. I think this is going to be a great game between Georgia and Alabama. Definitely one to watch. They're going to be on the road, but I think they're going to come back, and Jake Coker is going to be their guy. It's going to be a close game. And not much to say. His price is very reasonable, 6,800. He's looked solid so far. It's going to be an intense game against Georgia.
I was going to say Alabama underdog for the first time in 6 years. I don't know if that's going to fire the troops up or, usually Vegas knows something. So, we shall see what happens here. But, don't look for Alabama to lay down being an underdog. That's kind of ridiculous. That's got to be probably one of the better tailgates of the year right there, Alabama and Georgia. Get some of those southern belles out there drinking the moonshine. Hell of a day down south there. All right, wild card plays at quarterback. Who we got, gentlemen? I got Case. I'm sorry, start off.
I probably won't be playing him, but if you're looking for a wild card, I think it's Hubener from Kansas State.
Okay.
I'm sure he's going to be totally off everyone's radar. He's pretty cheap. Like I said, I probably won't be running him because I don't think the ceiling's there, but if you're talking about a wild card, he's kind of a random guy.
Now, you're the kind of guy where you like to play the matchup. So, you might one week you might have a little more on FanDuel, one week you might have a little more on DraftKings. So, this week, what are you going with?
It's pretty evenly split. The thing that I don't like about FanDuel this week, you know what? We'll get to it more in the receiver field, but the receivers are just kind of all over the place. There's just too many options that could hit value on the day, so it makes it tough to kind of find an edge.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of great value at the wide receiver position this week, and that's where we're able to pay up for the quarterback position.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Again, we can get there. All right, Nicky, who you like as wild card, a quarterback?
Wild card play. This guy is 6,200 on FanDuel. I'm looking at C.J. Beathard, the quarterback from Iowa. They're going to be on the road against Wisconsin, which means they're probably going to be playing from behind. So I can see him throwing the ball a lot. Wisconsin is a good team, but playing from behind, wild card play, why not?
All right. If we're going to be talking about a wild card, let's talk about a guy with a weird name. Now, if I butcher this name, you could just, give it to me. Let me have it. But Seppo Luafai, or we could just call him the Colorado quarterback. He's priced at $5,600 today, or for Saturday. They are taking on Oregon. They'll be at home. Oregon, we're not sure. Vernon Adams might not even play in this game. But, regardless, Oregon's going to put up some points on Colorado. Again, we got a quarterback coming from behind, a lot of throws. I think we can make something worthwhile of it. He's got Spruce to throw to as well, so, maybe pair the two of them up together with something and maybe make a memory out of this whole thing,
Definitely. Definitely.
Hey, it's a wild card for a reason, right?
Exactly.
I like Cepho on DraftKings for the late slate. He's good value there.
Yeah, again, I took a look at this late slate, and I almost threw up all over my laptop.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of much going on there. All right, Nicky, start us off with the running backs. Who's the lock that we got there?
Obvious lock, Nick Chubb. This guy is a beast. He's had, 9 straight games with over 100 yards.
Right.
I want to say last week he had 21 carries, 159 yards, and 2 TDs against a good South Carolina team. It's going to be a close game against Alabama. I really like this game for some reason.
Okay.
Alabama-Georgia game, one I'll definitely be watching. Nick Chubb's a beast. He's listed at 8,500 on FanDuel. I think that's a solid price for him, especially with his numbers he's been having. So, Nick Chubb, he's a lock for me.
Let him have it, kid. Let him have it. I like it. Casey, who we got here at the running back position as a lock for you?
Running back position, my lock, and it's going to be on the FanDuel site. I think he's grossly underpriced, probably coming off of the poor performance against Boston College, but the man down to Nicky Rodriguez land, Dalvin Cook, 7,700 is just that's a joke. That's a joke price for what Cook can do.
Yeah, I mean, he had that against South Florida. I mean, he absolutely went the hell off, had himself a nice little day there. Now, you wrote about Cook today in your article.
Right, yep. Yeah, I mean, against Boston College, good defense, and that was in Boston College. Florida State doesn't really have a great offense, so if they run up against a team that knows how to play D, that can happen because Golston hasn't proven that he can pass yet. Cook did step out of bounds very briefly, otherwise that would have been a 50-plus yard touchdown run, which would have made his line look a little bit better. But he's had a week off. Now they're playing Wake Forest. I don't think Wake Forest really stands a chance at stopping him.
No.
DraftKings, he's the most expensive running back, so I'm actually not playing him on DraftKings.
Okay.
So this is a situation where I'll play both sites because clearly there's a price difference. And to me, FanDuel's the one that has him mispriced.
Yeah, I mean, some of the time, it's good to take a look at both sites because, if FanDuel does have him that highly priced, there's usually a reason. So, you can take that into consideration, take it however you will. But yeah, I mean, I love the matchup right there. Wake Forest ain't stopping anybody, Swiss cheese, cutting through. All right, if we got to go with the lock, I mean, is there anybody that's at anywhere close to this guy, Leonard Fournette? Pretty damn expensive there on DraftKings. He will run you a solid price of $9,800. Now, here's the thing. They're going up against Eastern Michigan. This is going to be an unbelievably just gross game. Eastern Michigan already gives up the most rushing yards in the country right now. They have been giving up 314 yards a game. You got to see this, too. This is unbelievable. So they're averaging giving up 54.05 points to the running back position. Leonard Fournette, pretty damn good. I think we got ourselves a little bit of an ass kicking on our hands here. Now, do you want to pay the $9,800 for a matchup that, could only last you a half? I don't know. But if there is a lock to do something tremendous this week, it's got to be Leonard Fournette. And props to him scoring at least one touchdown last week. I made a bet with Nicky. If he didn't score a touchdown against Syracuse, I was going to get a rainbow tattoo on my forehead.
Is that deal on for this week as well?
Yeah, sure. But I got to get something in return. I can't go risking a rainbow tattoo on my forehead, 2 weeks in a row and not get anything in return,
Oh, I got to think of something I got to do.
Yeah, it's it's like one of those bets where I'd get like 5 M&Ms, not even like 5 packs, like 5 because he should,
And all the same color.
Blue, please. Blue. I like that one the best. All right. Another lock that I have, Samaje Perine out of Oklahoma. I know we're only supposed to do one here, but guess what? Rules are meant to be broken. I like him against West Virginia.
Exactly.
Not going to go too much into it. Try to keep it rolling, but I love that matchup that he has against West Virginia. So look out for him as well.
Definitely.
All right.
I'm going to also break a rule here. I'm going to break a rule and ask both of you guys a question here.
All right.
What do you guys think of Mr. Howard out of Indiana? Oh, this thing just froze. Jordan Howard out of Indiana leads NCAA in rushing yards, going up against Ohio State.
I think you're nuts.
I wouldn't touch him with your bankroll. Nope, not going into the horseshoe. I know his price is depressed a little bit. It's sub 7,000 on FanDuel, but there's too many options that it's just not worth the risk.
Not even at that price?
Nope, not even close.
Okay.
I like where the head's at, though. Take a deep, grand slam swing. I don't mind it.
Yeah, there's just too many other options. If it was a shorter slate, then you can make the argument because he is a really good running back. But with so many options, for your cash games, that's just way too much risk.
Okay.
As Aaliyah once said, just step up and try again. What? I'm not an R&B singer. I never will be. But that's what she said. Hey, now do you have any other sleepers, or was that just a lone sleepyhead?
I got a sleeper here. Your boy Dare Okenbolo.
Oh yeah,
pronounce his last name.
Okabawale!
That's your boy. He's going up against Iowa. He looked good last week, 85 yards and a touchdown. I see him matching that performance. I say 86 yards and a touchdown.
Look at this guy. Really going after it. He got off to a slow start last week against Hawaii. I thought he should have did a lot more. Taiwan Deal is in the mix a little more. I wish he would just get the hell out of the way and let Ogunbowale take the whole damn thing,
I love his last name.
I gotta make some friends up in Wisconsin, make him an offer he can't refuse. Like, hey, why don't you not play this week, kid,
I'll give you $5.
I mean, I am from Jersey. I mean, I should know people like that, right?
A lot closer than I am.
All right. Okay, so we got here at Sleeper.
Sleeper. So I'm hoping he's under-owned. I don't know if he will be.
Okay.
And it's going to be a sloppy mess if the weathermen are correct. But I'm looking down in Raleigh, North Carolina at Matt Days for NC State. Shadrack Thornton went and got arrested again.
Shadrack.
They have promptly kicked him off the team, opening up the door for Matt Days to get all of the volume at running back.
Nice.
The difficulty is NC State hasn't played really anybody worth mentioning, and now they're taking on Louisville. Yep. So that's definitely going to be the best defense that they faced all year. But he is 5,100 on FanDuel and 5,300 on DraftKings. I just think the upside and the floor, given the fact that Shadrack Thornton's been booted out the team, there's just too much opportunity for a starting running back at that price to totally sink your ship.
All right, so he is going to be, you said 5,300 here on DraftKings, right?
Yeah.
All right, I got another guy that I think, we can make a little noise here. Kenneth Farrow, Houston, 5,100 on DraftKings, same deal. But, again, it's the opponent that he's going up against. Tulsa, they've averaged, they're giving up 270 yards a game on the ground. I know Farrow sees a little takeaway in his carries there from the other guys, but I like his spot here. Farrow is the main guy for Houston. Again, I know you like the quarterback. I know we all like the quarterback this week from Houston, but I like Farrow to get in the end zone. We'll go twice.
Really?
Wow.
I like Farrow. He helped me out in a couple big games last year. But, hasn't really – he had a decent game this year, 2 other duds. But I think it's his turn this week, especially with that weak Tulsa defense that he's going up against. So let's have it, Farrow. Let's get a 2 on the board, kid.
2 touchdowns for Farrow, and I'll come up there and I'll treat you to Harold's Deli.
Sold!
And if he doesn't, you got to get the rainbow tattoo.
Nah. I won't get it on my forehead since it's fat. I'll get it like a...
You'll get on your arm,
I'll get like a rainbow tramp stamp or something. I don't know.
That's even worse.
Yeah, I know. Well, at least it's not my forehead, right?
I was gonna settle for shoulder, but if you want tramp stamp, we'll do that.
Well, I mean, it's not like too many people see me back there, you know, so we'll be all right. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. You're not a plumber.
How about Farrow just gets 2 touchdowns, and then I can get some, like, sandwiches and something, you know, and then we don't have to worry about me getting a rainbow tramp stamp.
Okay, I'll text him now.
Sold.
After the show.
All right, wild card for the running back position. Boy, that took an awkward turn real quick. Wild card running back position.
My guy was Jordan Howard. I asked you guys a question earlier. He's a wild card then. None of you guys like him. He's facing Ohio State. He's the top running back in the nation in yards so far this season, so why not?
All right, I'm with it. If you got the confidence to do it, go for it. Case,
It's a wild card.
Wild card. His first name's slipping my mind right now, but Brooks for Minnesota. He's a freshman who not took over the starting role, but moved into number 2 on the depth chart last week. And I think he had like 6 carries or 10 carries for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. So they're going up against Northwestern, who's got a really good defense. So he's definitely not going to be a high percentage play by any means. It might be like 1% of people playing, but he's $3,000. So in terms of a wild card, you're getting a minimum price player who is catching the eye of the entire coaching staff over there for the Gophers.
This is Miles Davis or Miles Davis.
Shannon Brooks.
Brooks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Brooks.
Shannon Brooks.
All right, we'll take a look at him. We'll take a look. Shannon Brooks. Oh,
Hey,
he's even got one of those note things next to his name. Hey, all right. I like guys going with your wild cards up against some tough Big Ten defenses there. All right. If I'm gonna go with a wild card, we'll go with the darling from last week, DeAndre Washington, Texas Tech. Gonna run you 5,500 on DraftKings this week. Again, this is gonna be an absolute huge scoring type of game. I have a feeling Texas Tech is gonna be on the wrong side of it. But, you know, 5,500, I get a starting running back who's going to catch some passes, going to get some rushing in there, going to get his touches. And I was this close to having Washington in every single lineup last week. I did not. I was kicking myself all over my body. I was upset I didn't have. I liked him a lot. And, you know, I mean, Jesus, if I said, you know, I knew he was going to have that kind of day, forget about it. All right, wide receiver time. Plenty to talk about here. I'm glad we kind of, you know, rifled through those first 2 positions real quick. Let me start it off at the wide receiver position. I got to go with my man Kenny Lawler from Cal, 6,300 on DraftKings. This guy was an absolute stud last week, 7 catches for 112. We're going up against the Washington State Cougars and their atrocious defense. You know we're going to be seeing tons of balls flying all over the place. Let Kenny Lawler be that guy for you. He's had 3 games this year of at least 25-plus points. Let him have it. Let him have it, kids.
Love that pick. Love it.
All right. Case, you got next?
Yeah, Lawler's solid. And I hate to choose from the cream of the crop here, but Corey Coleman, you know, everybody knows him. Yeah, he's good, but this game just has every ingredient that you're looking for. I mean, we all saw what Doxson did to Texas Tech last week with, 18, 17 catches for whatever, 10,000 yards, something like that.
For the world.
Coleman has 8 touchdowns in 3 games.
Jesus.
That's pretty ridiculous. And now you're going to put him up in a game where they actually are going to have to score some points because Texas Tech is definitely the best offense that Baylor has faced all year long. Yep. Total's inching up around 90. This could be one of those days where Coleman is literally good enough to just carry your entire lineup.
Yeah, you know, I had that same thought with Dotson. You know, I mean, that was the first thing that popped in my head, that Coleman, you know, could very well be the guy. Yeah, you know, again, you know, as we were talking, you know, about Seth Russell, with Baylor too. Going to be the reason why he has a big day. The two of them are going to be pretty damn highly owned, but I don't miss the boat on these two.
Exactly. Would you guys compare Corey Coleman to the Julio Jones in fantasy sports?
Yeah, I could do that.
Better.
Oh man, yeah.
Better.
Only because
More touchdowns.
Because the clock stops on the first down.
Yeah.
And,
Sure.
more opportunity.
So a combination of Julio Jones and Antonio Brown sounds good then.
Yeah.
He kind of reminds me of Calvin Johnson a lot. I mean, when Calvin Johnson was good, Oh,
He's still good. That O-line is just another story.
I shouldn't say when he was good. I should say when he was great. I mean, listen, that offensive line's got all sorts of issues in Detroit. They'll get exposed. Hey, if you were watching the NFL show last night, you got a little piece of that. Yeah. All right.
That's the only team.
You had the lock for receiver ready, right?
No,
you got it.
I didn't go.
Right.
Tywan Taylor, out of Western Kentucky. They're going to be facing Rice on Saturday, which is a terrible team. They have given up 996 yards in 4 games on the air, with 13 touchdowns.
Nice.
So I see Mr. Taylor in the end zone.
Mr. Taylor and the Red Grimaces.
Exactly. That Western Kentucky mascot is going to have himself a nice day.
Yeah.
Of course you picked a guy from Western Kentucky. It wouldn't be a college football show without it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was sad leaving out Dowdy, but I knew I was going to put Taylor in there, so I made up for it.
It's great. The Red Grimace going to have a field day. Another guy we can add to the locks too. I like Jay Lee a lot from Baylor too. I know we were talking about Coleman, but I think everybody's going to get their hands on the ball. Katie Cannon's in the mix as well. I like Jay Lee more than I like Katie Cannon. That's just a preference thing. But yeah, I mean, would you even go as far as to do Coleman and a Jay Lee or Coleman and a Cannon in the same lineup?
Yeah, I would definitely do that. The over/under is 90.
Yeah, I mean, the volume will be there. Case, we think
100%. Yep.
Hundo, give it a hundo.
Yep.
All right, so if we're talking about a sleeper here, Case, I'm going to let you have your sleeper because you had a great write-up on it today. I'm sure that's where you're going to go with the price that you had. But I like Alan Lazard from Iowa State. They're going up against Kansas this week. Lazard, only $4,100. This is an absolutely talented receiver. So to have him here at this price point, it's a little weird. He does have 2 games this year where he only has 4 catches, and he hasn't lived up to the hype yet. But going up against Kansas, it's time. Just like our boy Farrow, it's time. It's time.
Right on.
And his name is Allen, so gotta have that.
That's always a plus.
Gotta have that. All right, Case, your sleeper. If it's the guy I'm thinking of in this high-flying game who you wrote about in your article, everyone should listen.
So, I'm not going to talk about Joshua Atkinson. But you're right. He is a pretty good price sleeper. But I want to change gears a little bit.
Okay.
Because it's going to cover tight end for you.
Ooh.
Where DraftKings doesn't require a tight end, but Jalen Samuels from NC State. So he's listed as a tight end, but he's really more of an H-back, where he gets a few carries a game. He leads the team in receptions and yards and touchdowns. He's another guy. He's got 8 touchdowns and I think on like 32 touches or something like that.
Okay.
And now once again, now that Chadrick Thornton's out of the game, Samuels becomes your goal line back, and then he's being eligible as a tight end. It's kind of hard to argue. He's $4,000 on FanDuel. If he was a $4,000 receiver, he'd be like an 80% start. So in terms of sleeper, who probably a lot of people aren't on, he's not a bad guy to look at.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at the game log. I mean, he's got at least 22 points in every single game this season. That's a damn good play. What do you got, like an insider there at NC State?
No, kind of what I mentioned with Days. The difficulty is they played really lackluster opponents, so it's kind of hard to gauge how these guys are going to fare when they actually have to face a real defense. But
they don't have to worry about that with Louisville, so.
But Thornton getting kicked off the team, it just really kind of solidifies. There's just way too much opportunity for the way that both these guys are priced in Days and Samuels, and the fact that Samuels is tight end eligible when he's really not a tight end.
Yeah.
It just puts him in a better position compared to the other tight ends, not named Tyler Higbee, because he's obviously a stud.
That's what I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
Who do you like better between the two? If you're going on a FanDuel lineup here.
It's tough, because now that Dangerfield is clearly back to 100%, that's going to eat into Higbee's targets a little bit. He got a little bit lucky with the 2 touchdowns last week. That's not going to happen all the time, obviously, because his receptions were down to 5, and I think it was one of his lowest yardage outputs on the year as well. So it's hard to tell with Dangerfield coming back how much that'll eat into it. Samuels is a little bit more of a wild card, though. You don't know how he's going to be able to compete against a legitimate defense compared to what they've been playing. So it's close. It's close.
Hey, what's the price point on Higbee on FanDuel?
4,100.
4,100. Wow.
That's pricey for.
Yeah, that's up there for a time.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because aren't a lot of them are like $2,000 or?
A lot of them are $3K.
3K. All right. Yeah. I mean, it's been like 365 days since I played college football on FanDuel, so.
Only 365 days.
I made the switch. I'm strictly over at DK for college football now. I'll come back for NBA. I'll be back there, you know.
Yeah, I love NBA on FanDuel.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the college football. Don't force me to play a tight end, all right? Okay. And let me use 2 QB. I like that in college.
Come back to FanDuel.
Come back, we miss you. Yeah, I mean, I'm hella interested in Samuels now.
Me too.
That's the thing I love about doing the show. Not only get to talk some college football, but you get different perspectives from all over the globe. I love it. Well, maybe not the globe, but, you know, the East Coast, right?
Yeah. All over the East Coast.
That'll do. All right. Sleeper on wide receiver. Nick, you're there, right?
Yes. I'm looking at a game no one's probably looking at. Pittsburgh and Virginia Tech.
Okay.
I'm looking at Isaiah Ford here. He's had a total of 14 receptions in his last 2 games. He had 128 yards against Purdue and 95 yards against East Carolina.
All right.
He's at a reasonable price at $5,800. Just a nice little sleeper here. No one's going to be talking about this game.
4,500 on DraftKings. That's a good spot for him. I had him last week, so you know I'm pretty familiar with him. He's got 15 points at least on DraftKings in every game thus far. You know, going up against Pitt, not a formidable opponent at all. You know, I mean, he could definitely get busy in this one.
Definitely.
Case, you like Ford? Or are you a Chevy guy?
No, I like Ford more on DraftKings. It's supposed to be raining again in Blacksburg, but it was a monsoon in East Carolina last week, and he still had 8 catches, so I'm not sure if that really matters. But it's something to consider. I probably am staying away from him on FanDuel just because I'd like Atkinson and Parks more at the same price point. But on DraftKings, I have him in my cash lineups.
Yeah, and that's another thing that we haven't even touched on. You know, you brought up the weather, but, you know, be careful this weekend when you're doing your lineups because I can see some of these games even getting canceled. You know, one of the main reasons the guy from Temple, what's his name?
Jahad Thomas.
Yeah, Jahad. Yeah, I draw a mind blank every now and again. Sorry. I had him in the lineup over Yerby, and you know, see that it turns into a Category 4 down there in North Carolina. I'm like, okay, not having that. But yeah, I mean, just you know, definitely look out for this in your lineups. You know, definitely be mindful of it. Basically, if it's an East Coast game, and you know, if you have to lock a lineup at 12 o'clock for the early slate, you know, and we got an East Coast game here at 4 o'clock, then you know, just be mindful. Don't be an idiot.
Good thing about DraftKings is you get to switch out your players, not like FanDuel.
Very true.
That's why I might play DraftKings this weekend.
Yeah. Hey, be weather friendly. Be weather friendly. All right, so we got to go with a wild card play here at the wide receiver position. Jesus, there's a whole slew of these guys. Wild card, though, I know, I like Perrine out of Oklahoma, but Sterling Shepard as well. 6,900 on FanDuel. This guy's going to be a stud in the NFL. Definitely, I watched a lot of his games last year. I had him rostered in a lot of spots last year. Haven't used him yet this far. Thinking about doing it in this one. Last week against Tulsa, one of the worst defenses of all time. 8 catches, 144. Didn't hit the end zone, but he's got at least 25 in his last 2 games. And, going up against West Virginia, we're definitely going to see some good things out of Shepard this week.
Definitely. I like Shepard this week. Great pick, especially for a wild card. On DraftKings, you can put him at the flex spot.
Oh, yeah. Let's get busy.
I see where you're thinking. I see the way you're thinking.
Let's get busy. All right, Nicky, who you got there as a wild card for receiver?
Wild card. I'm going back to this Ohio State-Indiana game. I'm looking at a guy by the name of Simi Cobbs from Indiana, just because I think they're going to be playing from behind.
Right.
They're going to be throwing the ball a lot, and Cobbs has a touchdown his last 2 games. Why not make it 3?
Why not make it 3?
Why not?
I really like Ricky Jones from Indiana. I mean, not necessarily tomorrow or on Saturday, but I do like him a lot. Hella talented down there in Indiana.
I like him more, but this is a wild card.
I hear you.
So,
Case, close it out here with a receiver wild card for the people.
I got a wild card. One guy, and I'm not going to talk about him, but I really like him as a strong play, is DeMarcus Ayers from Houston. So keep an eye on him. He's a good pair with Greg Ward Jr. But my wild card is Colby Listenby.
Hey!
He should be coming back. He dressed and he warmed up last game, but ultimately never took the field. He should be coming back. DraftKings, he's $4,000. If he's fully healthy and ready to go, that's just $4,000 is too good a price to ignore.
Yeah, like an a-hole, I kept him in one of my lineups last week, and
I was told.
I know, but you know me. I said, I'm like, listen, I'm just gonna take a crack with it. I knew that there was major risk. I did a couple lineups last week, so that was just one that I kind of.
There was no news on it. There's no way. That's the tough part about college. It drives me crazy. There's no news. Literally, no news.
I felt like they were just trying to keep it simple and not necessarily say anything. Like, why would they want to alert Texas Tech on anything? And
sure.
Jesus, but yeah, Listenby is probably the fastest guy in college football. And especially against this Texas defense, you could absolutely have a field day against them.
Yep.
All right. So we broke down each position. Thank you for joining us if you're watching today. Is there anybody else that we haven't talked about that you guys want to, let out your secret to the world?
I got breaking news for you, Alan. You're not going to be happy about it. Herb Waters just got hurt pretty bad.
Oh, boy. Well, I didn't put him in the lineup anyway. So.
I guess it was just me then.
Yeah. Hell, at least he had some catches, but I had Braxton Berrios, and, he hasn't done a damn thing. I forgot the guy who wrote it, but on Roto Grinders today, he had a good point where I guess Berrios got injured in the first game of the season, and Kaya kind of, he led him into a pass where he ended up getting injured. And he was like, he's probably going to try to, help him make up for it, and, get him involved in the mix. He's like, I'm going to throw you another one where you get hurt, kid.
Now with Waters hurt,
It could be time. I like the breakdown on him, but obviously nothing going right yet. He doesn't have anything right now. Case, you got anybody?
Yeah, just one more guy to mention, because I'm in the middle of writing my article for the late slate, so I'll give you guys a little bit sneak peek. Top receiver on the late slate is Christian Kirk.
Okay.
As you said, I agree with you that the late slate gets a little bit awkward. There's not a lot of clarity of how to structure a lineup there, so I'm still going through it. But he's a guy that kind of stood out in terms of consistency Pretty nice floor. I think he's coming at 7,300, so he still hasn't jumped up there in price for what he's been putting on the field.
Yeah, 6,300 on DraftKings. Taking a look at the game log right here. 3 games with at least 100 yards. There's touchdowns in 3 of the 4 games as well.
Yeah.
Going up against Mississippi State, right?
Yep.
So, could be facing a little bit of a tough D, but for that $6,300 price point, I like it. I like it a lot. All I can really say is get you some exposure in these Tulsa, Houston, Texas Tech, Baylor.
Definitely.
Make sure you have guys from those games. You don't want to be sitting there in front of the TV like, oh man, how come I don't have any exposure to that? No, get it in there. Get it in there.
Golly gee.
I don't know. I thought I was being a dumb redneck, but hey, I have dumb redneck friends. It's all good. All right, want to thank everybody for joining us again. I am Mal Walsh. You can follow me on Twitter at 14a.walsh. And guys, just let the people know where they can find you, articles, Twitter, all that kind of stuff.
You guys can find me at FantasyAddicts1. And the website is www.dailyfantasyaddicts.com.
Indeed.
You guys can find me at Carruthers on Twitter, and I'm a writer for dailyfantasysportsrankings.com, also known as DFSR. So check out my articles. Thursday and Saturday morning are up. Saturday night will be posted sometime tonight.
Yes, very much so. And AlWalshDFS.com coming along swimmingly. Definitely going to be up by the start of NBA season, but I was telling the guys today, I was like, I'm not going to just start writing articles at like week 4 of the NFL. That's stupid. I'm going to wait for the beginning of NBA. And I'm also taking some hours off from work on certain days, so be getting some, daily video podcasts going in there prior to game time. I'll probably do that a lot more on like Wednesdays and Fridays, being that those are the big nights for NBA. Thursday I'll just work my tail off at the office and make up for it. All good.
Perfect. I like that idea.
Indeed. All right, for the rest of the Big 3 team, I'm Al Walsh. We will see you Sunday morning for the NFL Extravaganza. Always a good time. All right, thanks for joining. See you later.